I'm here outside the Nottingham Theatre Royal. This is the scene of where many witnesses are now reporting seeing a man hit two people with a van in the city centre. Police have cordoned it off, understandably, but there are several police cordons right across the city today as they try to establish a series of incidents that they believe are linked. And like you say, that one man has been arrested. Officers first called to Ilkeston Road just after 4 this morning. Two people were found dead in the street there. Officers then moved to another incident in Milton Street, that's less than a mile away, where a van had attempted to run over three people who are currently being treated in hospital. That's what I was just talking about here at the Theatre Royal. Then another incident in Magdala Road, another man found dead there. That's more than another mile away from where I'm standing currently. So some of the cordons are quite small, but they're very spread out across the city. And police are currently working here to establish what the connection is, why the connection is, and how exactly this played out this morning. There have been a few people questioned. We've heard of police entering buildings on Ilkeston Road. Some armed officers a few hundred yards above the main cordon headed into a commercial property on the street a little earlier. Two young women were eventually put in the back of a marked car. We're not hearing anything as to why that is, but it just displays how active these investigations are here in the city centre.
So it's sounding at the moment like a series of hit and run incidents. Would that be right? And I understand that there's not much known about this prospective van driver, but that a 31-year-old man has been arrested. Is that right?
That's right. And like you say, it is a series of separate incidents where separate people have been injured. They are still trying to establish quite what the connection is and the reason behind it. It's quite still in its early stages, this investigation, and a team of detectives working to establish all of that. But we do know that the incident is being dealt with by the local police and not the counter-terrorism network at the moment, which is just important to note. The force has not yet commented on whether the attacks are being treated as terrorism or not, but we understand that the local force is dealing with what's happening here while they assess the motive.
And Ollie, the reaction from the people of Nottingham, who must be in quite a state of shock at the moment.
Well, it's interesting here in the city centre. The first thing that strikes you is how quiet it is, and that is in part to the fact that the trams, the buses, the cars can't actually go anywhere. So people are making their way around on foot.
Isn't
People are
it
sort of
typical?
coming up.
I've been talking about crows and rooks in today's programme, and I can hear you say it's quiet there, but of course they've just started up.
Yes, well, that one has just told me that people are, stopping and looking at all these cordons as they walk past them, of course, trying to sort of reconcile a different looking city to the one that they perhaps went to bed on last night. When you walk through the city, there are lots of people sat outside in the sunshine, cafes, coffee shops, bars, it being lunchtime, and just discussing what's happened with their friends. There's obviously a lot of speculation going around on social media about what's gone on. None of that obviously confirmed, but it's definitely keeping people talking. And on my way through just to where I am currently, I heard one person turn to their friend and just said, well, I guess we just have to keep our eyes peeled and stay a bit more vigilant for the rest of the day. And so it's very much a point of discussion here while people try to understand what has gone on in Nottingham City Centre.
But pretty evidently not a terrorist operation.
Well, that's right. Like I say, they're still trying to establish the motive, but we do know that local forces are dealing with this and not counter-terrorism police. I understand that Gold Command are operating here in Nottingham City Centre. That's sort of the highest level of command across local authority, across the emergency services, across transport services, to keep the city functioning as best it can, and also to establish what can be picked up from the ground, what can be picked up from CCTV, and what can be established in terms of that person who has been arrested this morning. So at the minute, we don't think terrorism, but they're still establishing that motive.
Ollie, we understand that 3 people have tragically lost their lives. Are there others in hospital?
Yes, there are. There are 3 others in hospital. As I mentioned earlier, 2 of those we understand hit by a van, according to eyewitnesses just here outside the Theatre Royal in Nottingham in the early hours of this morning. Eyewitnesses, one called Lynn Haggett, says around 5:30 this morning. She saw a van hitting two people. It was all white. There was a police car behind it at that time, coming up slowly but with no flashing lights. The van then sped up into the corner of the street and went into two people. That's what one witness says. We understand those people are in hospital being treated currently.